I was going to wait and make this video after I had done some more thinking, but I thought, well, maybe some comments and some responses would help me focus my thinking a little more. When we talk about the government, a lot of people's motivation for liking big government is that it takes care of them. Of course, the problem is that it's at the involuntary expense of others. I understand that, and of course a great many anarchistic videos are spent convincing us of the equal evils of government, and I have no problem with that. I'm willing to accept that as a premise for going ahead and building an argument in favor of anarchy. I don't think that anarchy, however, is a natural, necessary consequence, at least I don't think that yet, of agreeing upon the evils of government or statism. I'm beginning to come to think of it, especially after my discussions about Judge Fullerton and Hardee's, really to which no one has given an answer that is satisfactory to me about human behavior. I'm beginning to think that we not only want government to care for us, we want government to care for us in the sense of government being a proxy for caring about significant issues and doing things in response to them. And here's an example that I think I'll give that might work. Anheuser-Busch, large employer in St. Louis, and at one time they were the largest polluter in St. Louis. I have no idea whether they were, and it was actually easier for them to just continue polluting and paying the fines than to actually fix whatever their pollution was. I don't know how you pollute making beer, but apparently you do. Now, do you think anybody stopped drinking beer from Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis because they knew they were polluters? Well, first of all, you might have said, well, just because somebody accuses them of being polluters doesn't mean they are. We know there are a lot of nuts out there willing to accuse people of all sorts of things where we don't understand the balance of the facts. People would keep drinking Anheuser-Busch beer even if they were murdering small children in third world countries to do it. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I think what we want government to do is care for us. In other words, impose laws that provide regulations based upon, presumably, after adequate fact-finding, which might be totally bogus, but to regulate things. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I think it's the way it is. Life is way too complicated with too many facts for us to be expected to change our economic purchasing decisions on a day-to-day basis, which will in fact be made based upon our own decision at the moment of what is most advantageous to us at the moment. Now, we know that's wrong. We know that doesn't have a long-term plan. But I think what people want is government to, in fact, do that for them. Now, whether it's suited to do it for them, totally different question. But you see, my argument against anarchy is that it assumes too much about human behavior. And I still think so. I still think so after discussing Denny's. I still think so after discussing Judge Fullerton. I do not think those are isolated anecdotal stories. I think they demonstrate how people's minds work. Life is too complicated for them to make decisions in their own benefit on an immediate basis. For them to make decisions on a long-term basis based upon the good of society and the environment and everything else. And I think that anarchists are assuming just way too much about future behavior of people without examining how they have in fact behaved in the past.